back to the channel. So it's Tia. Well then,
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Tina here, and today I'm coming to you with the Zimbabwean tag. Before we go any further, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and hit the notification button before you leave as well, so that you make sure that you're notified every time I post a video. Also, hit the thumbs up button if you like this video, if you enjoyed our time together. Make sure to share this video with your friend, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, Sekuru, Muzukuru, Mukoma, Tom, Tracy, Taniwa, Tapua, Tawanda, anyone that you want to share it with. So the first question I have here is, were you born in Zim? Yes, I was born in Zimbabwe. I was born in Harare, which is the capital city. When was the last time you were in Zimbabwe? The last time I was in Zimbabwe was in February of 2017, which is last year. Can you speak Shona or Ndebele, and can you say something in your language? Yes, I speak Shona. I don't speak Ndebele. I wish I did. I actually wish they taught it more in schools. It's kind of sad how they didn't. And this was what I decided to like because but anyways do you like Zimbabwean food? I love Zimbabwean food. I love my food from home, but I don't eat it as often as I'd like to. What is your favorite Zimbabwean dish? Well, if I'm to give like some small examples, first of all, I'd say like I like normal things. Like I like porridge. I like porridge reshiyo. I like madora. I'm not so big on matemba, like especially like when they made with tomatoes and onions. But as a meal, I like to have some hot satsa, guys, straight out of the pot, you know, with some mubora with peanut butter and a nice fried little piece of chicken, so you know, just like get it in. If you went to school in Zim, what is your favorite memory from school? I think I would have to say becoming a senior in high school. There's a lot of like privileges that come with being a senior. Anytime that different schools would come together, or like anytime that there'll be like a rugby game at school, or like hockey games, just like any school events, I would really enjoy those. What is your Shona or Ndebele name? My Shona name is Hajine. I think it has two meanings in a sense. You can say it's not like Hajine Najo, like it doesn't have anything to do with that, you know, like, or like it doesn't matter. Like Hajine, again, you know, whatever. Name some Zim artists or Zimbabwe music that you like. Hey, you have to check my settings, my frequency, my feelings. Aiwa, handisi magaiva. Don't type like a singular, just come change it where I come fit as the crown. But no, they only like, they just like. Jeta Muka, yeah. Hey, Simba tags, yeah. Oh! Many things they try to talk. Many things they try to do. Many things have ambodaro. Who can be upset with a song like this? Good vibes. Good vibes. This what Zim is about. Good vibes. You it. Yeah. Sika. Jai. Yeah. Zimbabwean tag can you? Nice here. Brother our mind. Brother our mind. Brother our mind. I didn't think I should 25 feet. Die guy and a better life. Can jump up a dirty nigga mercy. Die guy and a life. Give up. Anything you ask, got to love up. Bending back, building your dreams. Hoping that you will love me again. I simply can't understand. I get it for you, killing me while you're killing me. Oh, Composure. Generally, I like any song that I can vibe with. A lot of the music that I also kind of like Anachitekete and Amacheso, you know, I like them because of what, like, the work that my mom does with some of these artists. So yeah, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, then I don't. But I generally am slow to catch on to a trend. So now I'm going to answer the extra questions that I was asked by my followers on my social media. The first question is, what is it like going to high school in Zimbabwe? I would say there's a lot of emphasis on extracurricular activities, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of encouragement of being like a well-rounded student, so not just academically gifted, but also like be good in sports and societies and clubs and all that kind of thing, all those kinds of things. Being a senior is amazing when you're in high school. Being like the bottom of the food chain, that's like the worst. I remember like so distinctly, like one of my first memories of being like in Form 1, which is like the first year of high school in Zimbabwe. I remember we had this quiz. There were questions like, which prefect lived in the UK for 7 years before coming to Zimbabwe?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
So how am I supposed to know this? Now, when we then became prefects ourselves and we were now the seniors, you had to like kind of like continue the cycle. Besides that, I would say like high school in Zim is only as fun as the people that you surround yourself with. Like, you know, if you're surrounded by people that are very outgoing and like to have fun, you're also gonna have fun. Partying and going out and things like that, I feel like you started fairly younger. Being like Form 2 and going to 7 Arts for an event was like the thing. Yeah, high school was fun, honestly. What's your favorite thing about Zimbabwe? The weather and the peacefulness of the country. Like, as a country, we could really have riots every other day because we have so much to be angry about. If I wasn't Zimbabwean, what nationality would I prefer to be? If it was for economic benefits, I would obviously pick Britain because I feel like the government just helps people a lot out here. So I would definitely choose, yeah, I'll choose to be, you know. But if I could be like a mixture, I'll choose to be like a black Asian or like a black Chinese person. Don't ask me why. What is one thing that you learned in China that you would implement in Zimbabwe? I would say the way in which Chinese people are kind of selfish with their country. They can allow foreign companies to come in, then they learn how these foreign companies do things. Then once they've learned it, they find a way to kind of like kick you out and like, you know, they basically take over the entire market. And that is something I think Zimbabwe needs to understand. What punishments did you receive as a child? Slap, belt, shoe, pinching, slap, 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 slap. What is the most Zimbabwean thing that I do? Ooh. I think the urge to call traffic lights robots. Rate Zimbabwe on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of friendliness. I would give them like a solid 8. Very welcoming, very peaceful people. Yeah. What is an amazing memory you have of Zim that you take everywhere with you? Standing on top of Mount Nyangani. I like the concept of like getting on top of a mountain. It's like conquering something so huge and just getting to the top and being able to see how far you've come like from the bottom. What is your favorite place in Zimbabwe? I would say I have 2 favorite places. One of them is Nyanga. I always have a good time every time I go to Nyanga. The second place would be the street where my mom has her shop, which is in Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, or it's also called Union Avenue. I remember being picked up from preschool and walking back to my mom's place, and I was very young then. It's still there now, and yeah. What church do you go to in Zimbabwe? I go to United Methodist Church. I am UMC. What is your favorite restaurant in Zimbabwe? Since I haven't been there in a while, I can't really speak for any of the new places. But the one place I do remember is this place close to Convent. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Point or Pont or Pante. I don't know. But they have the most amazing prawns there. Besides that, if Nando's counts, I would Nando's. Always. Hands down. No matter where I go. Nando's. Popular Zimbabwean curse words. Well. Mese Murima. Friends uncle. You're all my friends. I think it's difficult for me to say on camera because they all kind of involve reproductive organs. But you know, you can just say futeko or amailako. Like if you want to shut down any argument with Zimbabwe, just say amailako and you're done. What is my career target in Zimbabwe? To be a minister. It's the one and only Digo. Secure the bag. Why is classism such a problem in Zimbabwe? Classism in Zimbabwe, I think, is a problem because of, in my opinion, I would say it's like it stems back all the way to being colonized as a country. Back when we were in Rhodesia, I think there was so much separation between the whites and the blacks. And then when there was some form of integration going on, and black people started being accepted into like the places where white people used to go, the schools that white people used to go to, the areas that white people used to live, I think there was a certain level of making it that was attached to being, you know, around white people. So now what happens is if you live in certain areas, you're kind of considered to be of a higher class. If you go to certain schools, you're of a higher class. If you know, live in if you associate with certain people, you're of a higher class. And it all comes back down to, if you look at it carefully, these are the areas that are most commonly associated with like the white people used to say. The next question is, why is it when people call you salad, they don't try to help you improve? E.g., let's say your shana is broken or whatever, but rather they draw in on the fact that you're not fully Zimbabwean. So for those of you that are not aware, salad in Zimbabwe is basically anyone that is considered to be lacking in their culture. They don't know enough about their Zimbabweanness. The term musalad was coined to describe these kinds of people. I think some people consider it a compliment, and like when you think of it in the sense of like just being bougie, yeah, it's a compliment. But then the other side of it, the dark side, which is the way it's usually used, is used to refer to like being uncultured. And I think these people don't try to help you improve whenever they call you salad, because to them, you being salad and them being the ones that are aware of their culture makes them like at a higher standing than you are. Just because you might not know something or you don't know a stronger word or something, they then feel like they have the upper leg or the upper hand on you because there's something they know that you don't. So like for them to then help you, it's like they're giving up a part of them in a sense, like they're giving up their power over you. It's just people want to maintain their ego and their pride. That's why they keep it like that. Do ex-private school children have the right to claim they understand the weight of the nation's economic struggles if they themselves have never seen its effect in areas of people who live below the poverty line? That was a mouthful. This question is very complicated because I think generally, if you're an ex-private school child who doesn't actually know what people below the poverty line are going through, I feel like you can't then say you know and are able to fully implement actual policies that help anyone. Like you need to understand the full like range and scope of the actual issues before you can actually try to make any change. So at the same time, it's not fair to judge all private school children and say that they all don't know what's going on in Zim. There are some people that they do go to private schools, but at the same time, they've been to some of these areas and they know what's really going on. They might not have lived through it, but they are aware of the issues. And the thing is though, some of these people have maybe even gone outside the country. They have ideas on how to actually make positive change. They have new ideas, new ways of thinking that maybe our own government hasn't thought of. So it's not fair to then like judge all the private school children and say they all don't know. It's just a matter of like, make sure that you're aware before you make any decisions, I guess. As the next generation of 20s to 40s, are we really informed about our government's policies enough to make the changes necessary for us to see the Zimbabwe we are motivated to see, or is it just that motivation? I think we don't know everything, but I think our generation has had to live through, we lived through that 2008 crisis, the financial crisis. We didn't feel the full effects because, you know, we aren't like our parents who had to actually find a way to actually survive. But we did see how bad things got. And I think even in classes, there were so many discussions in business studies on how that situation could have been avoided. Even up until now, when I'm in China, it's still discussed. Like, how can you avoid those kinds of things from happening in countries? So we don't know all the policies. We don't know like everything. But if you're motivated, I think it's the beginning to actually making a change. You can then learn as you go along. But obviously, no one's going to make a policy before they've done their research. So, do you think as Zimbabweans, we are passive-aggressive in our behavior towards change? Yes, completely, we are. In the sense that we like to make a joke out of everything. Sometimes that means that we don't actually face the issue head on. We try to like kind of brush it off and just like let it, whatever. Even like I was saying, Zimbabweans have so much to be angry about, but we don't actually protest because we'd rather just like figure a way to survive. And rioting just leads to deaths usually and lack of peace, lack of business. So we'd rather just get our money. But at the same time, it doesn't then address the issues that are at hand. So there is a certain level of being passive aggressive that's involved, and it kind of needs to change. We need to stop making so many jokes, so many memes. As a Zimbabwean, how do you feel about Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe and I. What I can say about our relationship is that we're really in a love and hate relationship. We're always on and off. There's moments I really love her, and moments I'm really just like, why would you do this to me? But then again, I think it's she's being misled, she's being influenced, and I'm left with nothing else but I have to accept who she is as she is, because she is part of me. She's my DNA. She is who I am. So I can't then deny her. I love her with all my heart, but I wish she would grow as a whole. How do we restore or bring back the Zimbabwean culture in today's generation? I think the first key to this is just stopping the judgment. Zimbabweans need to stop judging each other. And like with this whole classism thing, you went to this school, you went to this school, you go to this school, you go to that school. You're a Musala, you know more about the culture. That's the first thing that needs to stop. If I ask you a question about, and I'm trying to get educated on my culture, don't then make me feel bad for not knowing it. Help me. If you see that my channel is broken, don't make fun of me for it. Like, help me, speak it properly. We're not helping each other by making fun of each other. Do you think kids that were raised in the UK don't want to know their language? It's not that, but then they're raised in an area where it's not spoken, so what can they really do? Help them. People need to stop judging each other for being raised differently. Understand that your way of being raised is not the only way, and just because you know things doesn't mean that you have the right to then feel like you're holier than thou just because you know this and I don't. Help me instead. Don't make me feel bad for not knowing. Okay, I'm tired of talking, guys. That was a lot. Thank you so much for sticking it out till the end, and I'm so appreciative if you've made it this far. Make sure to subscribe before you leave, guys, please, and also hit that like button. This is the only way that I can figure out which kind of content that you like. I'm sending so much love and light to you all Zimbabweans. Let's love each other, please. Let's become united. See ya.